BCom semester 3 English medium. So guys, today is your last lecture and the last chapter of your syllabus, and today we are going to start your last lecture, that is role and problem of public sector. So guys, we need to understand about the private and public sectors in India. So there are both the kind of sectors working in our country. The one is private sector and the other is public sector. So let's see what is there in the chapter. Both public and private sector may play important role in Indian economy. Therefore, present Indian economy is characterized as mixed economy. So, guys, as India has the mixed economy that we know it very well, there are both the private and public sectors are working together, and both the sectors are very important by themselves, because the private sector who produce and manufacture and give the product to the customer, as they are very commonly used in household works, but the public sector is also there to give the infrastructural facility as well as the basic needs and other we can say ornamental sectors that is used by the public and the government sectors. Now let's see what is there about the definition of the public sector. Meaning and definition of public sector. Public enterprises are those enterprises which are owned and managed, governed and operated by the state. So guys, here you need to do the focus on, that is public enterprises are those enterprises which are owned, managed, governed and operated by state, so that we can say state government. Public enterprises are also known as public industries, government sector, government enterprises, public sector undertakings, national industries, state-owned industries, etc. So, guys, here what the public sector is known by other names, and we can also say that it is run and operated by the government. So now, as we have seen the definition of the public sector, we will move further to the basic definitions given by different economists. What do they say about the public sector? Then let's see. A.H. Hansen says public enterprise in a more restricted and familiar sense. We will see it is to mean state ownership and operation of industrial, agricultural, financial, and commercial undertakings. So, guys, as you can read and see and understand about the definition which is given by A.H. Hansen, now we will move further. That is S.S. Khera. Let's see what SS Khera says. By public enterprises, it means the industrial, commercial, and economic activities carried on by the central government or by the state government or jointly by the central and state government. So, guys, as you know it very well, that what is public sector? Public sector is an enterprise which is run, operated, and managed by the government, whether it is a state government or the central government. So, we need to understand about the importance, the critical aspect, the limitations, and the present situations argument about the public sector. And we also need to understand about the present situations of the public sector, how public sector give its contribution to the national income, and how it is important to give the facilities, and we can say to satisfy the needs of the different people in the country, whether the public sector is capable enough to do the export of something. So we need to understand all such things in this chapter. Now guys, we will see, we have skipped all these definitions from this chapter, because these are all the same things which conveys the same meaning to us. Now guys, we will see main characteristics of public enterprises. Now we need to understand that what are the basic characteristics of public enterprises. So guys, let's see it one by one. The first thing is public ownership. The ownership of public enterprise is under the state. So guys, as the public enterprises are run and managed by the government, we can say it public ownership, because it is owned by the public. Now guys, we need to understand it deeply. Then let's read. The public enterprises are either wholly owned by the central government or state government, or local authorities, or jointly owned by two or more of them. Government ownership means that at least 51% or more equity is being held by the public authority. So guys, the public enterprises are totally, or we can say partially, managed and owned by the public, or we can say the state or the central government. Now guys, we will see the second point of the characteristics of public enterprises, that is public management. Generally, public enterprises are managed and governed by the government or the public authorities. It is said that the management is servant of the ownership, or it in general, owners are the managers of the enterprises. So, guys, we can clearly understand that the whole management of the public enterprises are done by the government. So we can say it is a public management. Now, guys, we will see the third characteristics of the public enterprises are economic activities. Public enterprises are those public institutions which are engaged in economic activities. These economic activities includes agricultural industries, business, finance, and services. Those public institutions which are engaged in social, cultural, or political activities cannot be called public undertaking. So cannot be called as a public undertaking. So guys, as we know it that all the public enterprises are doing an economic activities. Now we cannot consider it as an NGO, or we can say they just give non-economic activities and provide services to the people of the country, because whatever the services we got from the public enterprises, we need to pay them tax, or we need to pay them some customs, or whatever the charges or whatever is there, but we need to pay something in return so that we can get some facilities from the government. So public enterprises are the enterprises which undertakes the activity of economic activities. Now guys, we will see the fourth point, that is alternative of private enterprises. Public enterprises are set up as an alternative to private enterprises. They produce and supply those goods and services which are the referent areas of private enterprises. At present, they are not competitive but complementary to each other. Now, guys, as we know that India has a mixed economy, and in our country, public sectors and private sector, both the sectors are working together. So they are not competitor to each other. Means public sector only produces and serve people with the product which is not produced by the private sector. So they, we can say both the sectors are complementary to each other rather than they are competitor to each other. Though public sector and private sector are not competitor to each other, rather than we can say it that public sector and private sectors are complementary to each other. Now guys, we will see the fifth point, that is on the screen you can see it, implementations of the government policies. As the public enterprises are run and managed by the state or the central government, whatever the policies that has been set up by the government, they need to implement them in their enterprise. Now guys, sixth point is wider scope. Public enterprises cover a varied range of activities. They are not set up for a particular activity, but they operate in areas of manufacturing, trade, banking, transport, insurance, agricultural services, construction, marketing, mining, development. So guys, as you can see here, public sector is spreaded in larger area of each and every sector. So we can say public sector has wider scope. Now guys, there is a seventh point on the screen, that is form of organization. There are various forms of organization of public enterprises. The one is department, other is company, other is corporation, board, trust, operating contrast, joint sectors, etc. Government select such form of public enterprise as required according to the nature of work. So guys, as we can say, there are various form of organization is there in the public sector. Now guys, eighth, what the 8 point says, its objective. Public enterprises are essentially operating in the interest of public. The main objective of public enterprise is to watch public interest, economic quality, social justice, rapid economic development of the country. In public enterprises, social aspect can well precede, we can say, and even completely engulf business consideration. So generally we can say the main objective of public enterprises is to make the stable of the economic situation in the country, as well as they also focuses on the public interest, economic quality, as well as social justice. So guys, here are what the objective of the public enterprises. And you also need to understand that what is public enterprise. Public enterprise means an enterprise, or we can say as a company, or we can say as a business which is run and managed and owned by the state or the central government. Now guys, we can see here, we can also take an example of BSNL, Indian Railways, or we can also take an example of Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, Indian Oil. Those are the corporations or the enterprise which are run and managed by the state or the central government of the India. So guys, this is what all about the objectives. Now we will see and move further to the public control. Public money is invested in the public enterprise, therefore they are operated under the public control. Public has the right to know whether their money has been properly used and is giving sufficient return or not. The medium of public control is the parliament, minister, auditors, and judiciary. Public enterprise are accountable to the public through these medium. So guys, as the public enterprises are managed and owned by or we can say operated by the state and the central government, anybody can know the details of the public enterprises, that how the money is being used, whether their projects are giving us any return or not. So we can know such things by our member of the parliament, whosoever is elected by us as a member of parliament. They can get the information about the working conditions of the public enterprises, as being we can say, as the public enterprise are run and managed by the party in power, or we can say the government, which is managed and operated this kind of enterprises in our country. Now guys, we will see the monopoly. Generally public enterprises are operated in the condition of monopoly. They do not face any kind of competition because government provides various privilege to these enterprises. Some public enterprises are facing competition from private sector, cooperative sector, or within public sector to maintain efficiency. So guys, it is very easy to understand that how the public enterprises get monopoly. We can take an example of Indian Railway. So guys, there is no other alternatives in our country as Indian Railway. So there is no private company, or we can say there is no enterprise in the private sector which runs such kind of railways in our country. So there is only the one who is the public sector who runs the Indian Railway, or we can say the railway transportation in our country. So there is a pure monopoly of Indian Railway in a country. So we can say that there is a monopoly of public sector in the country. But there are some other factors which are facing some of the competitions from the market. We can also take an example of banking. There are some private banks as well as some public banks in our country. So such kind of services gets the competition from the private sector also. So we can say that the public enterprises face both the condition, whether monopoly, whether it is a competitive market. But it is mostly considered as a monopoly market. Now guys, we will see the objective of public sector. Means, why do the government need to start an enterprise? Why do the government need to we can say manage and operate, or we can say do the investment of the capital in the public sector? What are the main objectives of the public sector? Then guys, here are some of the basic explanation that you can see or you can read on the screen. But we will just keep it out and directly focus on the points that are given below the explanation. We just need to focus on that. We are just reading the objectives of the public sector. Let's see what are the main objective of the public sector. So here in India, the basic objectives of the public sector are, here the first point given on the screen, that is rapid economic development of the country by providing the services and the goods at a very quality, or we can say at a very lower price, or we can say at a very economic price. Indian economy will get developed by entering the public sector into the market. So public sector also producing we can say the larger amount of the production of goods and services in our country, as well as it also provide the services and infrastructural facilities which is not provided by the private sector. So we can say it is cumulative, or we can say comprehensive development activities which is done by the public sector in our country. So it is the basic objective of our country, or we can say basic objective of the public sector. It is to rapid economic development of the country. Now guys, we will see the second point, or we can say the second objective of the public sector is set up industries involving heavy investment and the infrastructure sector. Third objective is establish defense related industries and industries involving in higher risk. So guys, as you know it very well that there is no private sector, or we can say the private company or the enterprise which producing the we can say the defense related equipments, or we can also say that the weapons and such kind of things, it's not produced by the private companies. So government had invested some of the monies and started the enterprise to defense related industries and industries involving in higher risk. So such kind of industry has been started by the government for some kind of production and to protect the country. So this is also one of the objective of the public sector. Now we will move further and see the fourth point, that is prevent concentration of economic power in few hands. If there is no private sector, sorry, if there is no public sector in our country, and if there is only the private sector, that it is very possible that exploitation of the customer and exploitation of the employees can be possible in our country. So public sector must be there to control the overall economy of the country. Now guys, the fifth point of the objective of the public sector is help in achieving the object of socialist pattern of sociology, or we can say the society. help in achieving the object of social better of the society. The next objective is increasing government revenue by producing goods and services, and by providing goods and services to the citizens of the country. It can also generate the revenue in the hand, which can be used for which can be used for the development activity of the country. Okay, seventh point of the objective is promote fair competition. If there is some of the monopoly of the private sector for some product in the country, then government can also invest some of the money and start the public sector to give the competition to that private sector, so that when there is a competition in the market of any product in the market, then private sector cannot do any exploitation of the customer. So sometimes government takes an action to create a competition in the market, so that private sectors cannot take the benefit, or we can say the advantage of monopoly in the market. Now guys, we will see the next point, that is promote public control in spite of personal control. Then the other point that we have left, that is generate more employment in economy. Then promote and operate sick industrial unit, promote fair competition. So guys, these are the main objective of the public sector in our country. Now we will read further, that is increase in the rate of capital formation, then promote research and technology, set up infrastructure for planned economic development, complete the remaining work of private sector. So guys, there are some of the work that there are some of the jobs which is not done by the private sector. Suppose we can say that we cannot get the facility of water at our house that we get from our water tap. So such kind of facilities, and we can say we can also take an example of street light that we get from the government. So such kind of facilities, we can say, we can also consider this kind of facility as an infrastructure facility, because the electricity facility, transportation facility, water facility, such kind of facility is considered as an infrastructural facility. That kind of services is not provided by the private sector. So government has invested their money into the public sector, and started and provide such kind of facilities to the citizen of the country. Now guys, we also read some of the other objectives of the public sector, which is written here: promote public welfare, play the role of model employer. Government sector also provide the employment services to the people of the country. So when there is a large scale, or we can say a wider or biggest enterprises in our country, they are running on a large scale, so they also provide the larger, or we can say a great amount of employment services in our country. Now the reduce regional and social imbalance, and the last objective is promote self-reliance in strategic sector and diversify the economy. So guys, here we have seen the 18 objective of public sector, that what are the main objective of the public sector in our country. So these are the objectives of public sector in our country. Whenever the question will be asked in your exam, you need to mention such kind of topics, such kind of points as an objective of public sector in our country. Now guys, we will move further and see significant of public sector in India, or we can say the argument in favor of public sector in India. So we can also say that what are the requirements of the public sector in India. If there is no public sector, and if there is no enterprise in our country which is run and managed, or we can say the owned by the government, then what can be happen negatively to us, then what impact has happened to us in our country. So these are the positive sides of, we can say these are the positive sides of public sector in our country. Let's see, why do we need to have the public sector in our country. So here we can read. See, guys, here there are these are there are three paragraphs which gives, and we can say gives the explanation about the positive sides of the public sector in the country. Now, guys, we will read this paragraph one by one. After the Second World War, many countries of the world attained independence. There was a need of rapid economic development. In order to attain rapid economic development, they have adopted the path of economic planning. So, guys, after the World War II, each and every country need to get developed by themselves, or so that they have started the economic planning in the country. Now we will see about the India. Then what has India done about the development of the economy? India was one of these countries. She had also adopted the way of economic development through planning, and started 5-year plans from 1951. So guys, we have already discussed about 5-year plans which were started in 1951. And every 5 year we have the planning that has focused the plan in the planning. Government focuses on the different sectors, and government tries to do the development of such kind of sectors which is no which does not give the contribution to the national income of the country. So guys, we will see over here that Indian government has also started the development and the planning activity as a 5-year planning from 1951. It was aimed at achieving economic equality and justice, decentralization of economic power to generate more employment opportunities, research and technological development for economic growth, optimum utilization of national resources, expansion of public utility, etc. So, guys, these are the basic requirement that why has India started the planning services from 1951, and what were the situation at that time, what were the other countries doing about the development of their economy. And we just need to focus on the points which conveys us the message of the positive sides of the public sector in India, that what are the significance of the public sector in India. Then we will skip this paragraph and move further to the basic points which conveys us the basic explanation about the significant role of public sector in India. So, guys, we will read from here that the significance of public sector has accepted in the industrial policy 1977 and 1980. The following argument can be given in the favor of public sector in India. So, guys, this is an important question for your exam. Also, you need to focus on the point, and you also need to make your notebook and note down some of the points which is important, and I will tell you during the lecture. So, guys, here the first point is a strong industrial base. The importance of public sector, we can say the importance of industrial sector is increasing gradually in Indian economy. In order to make rapid economic development of the country, it is essential to set up a strong industrial base. Thus, industrial development is based on the progress of basic industries like iron, steel, cement, oil refineries, heavy engineering, coal, heavy electronic machinery, petroleum, natural gas. So, guys, only the government can start such kind of enterprise, because such kind of enterprise needed very high, or we can say a very great amount of investment. So, we have a strong industrial base because government sector has run. We can say government sector has such kind of enterprises which is totally associated with iron, steel enterprise, cement enterprise, oil refineries, heavy engineering, coal, heavy electric machinery, petroleum and natural gas industries. So only the government has the major part, or we can say the highest stake in such kind of industries. Private sector has not that much capacity to start such kind of enterprises in the country. So the we can say the public sector has strong industrial base because it has invested a lot in the infrastructural enterprise in our country. Now, guys, we will see the second point, that is huge capital investment. So, guys, as I have already told you that in the public enterprises, government need to invest a lot because government only starts such kind of enterprises which is not run by the private sector. So government has to start the enterprises which producing the, we can say, the machinery producing, or it also about the petroleum sectors. It's also about the insurance and banking sectors. So government has invested a huge amount of capital in the industries. Now the third point is to get foreign aid. It is essential to set up public enterprises to secure foreign aid from the social bloc countries, because it is their prime condition and they are not ready to give assistance to private enterprise. So if we want to get an investment money from the public sector, sorry, from the foreign countries, foreign countries foreign countries are only accept the private, or sorry, we can say the public sector to invest their money. If we want to have the investment amount from the other countries, we need to have some public enterprises in our country, because the people of foreign or the foreign country, or we can say the citizen of other country, only invest in the public sector of the country. They never trust on the private sector. So if there is if there is a many enterprise, or we can say if there is a public sector's growth is very high, then we can get a very great amount of foreign aid in our country. Now, guys, fourth point is industries related to national security. So, guys, as I have told you that no private company is producing the weapons, or weapons as well as the equipment or the machines which can be used as a safety, we can say the safety precautions, or sorry, we cannot say safety precautions, or we can say we can use it to protect our country. So only the government sector, or we can say only the public sector has invested some of the money and started and manufacturing defense equipment and the weapons in our country. So industries related to national security has only we can say the only the public sector has association, or we can say the collaboration with the industries related to national security. Now guys, we will see the fifth point in the favor of public sector, that is technological development. Public sector units have promoted technical development in India. Public sector units are always engaged in technical innovation. They are in capacity to spend huge amount on technical development, research and innovation. So guys, here we can see the government sector, or we can say the public sector, have huge amount. It has the capacity to spend money on the technical development, technical research. So we can say technical development can also be done, or we can say we can get the technical development by the public sector in our country. Now guys, next point on the screen, that is check on concentration of economic power in a few hands. So guys, if there is no public sector in a country, there will be only the private sector. So whatever the goods and the services we get, there it will only from the it will only from the private sector. So our economy will totally be dependent on the private sector. So it is not favorable for any country to have control on the private sector. That's why government start the public sector to give the competition and to control the economy of the country. Let's read in it. A private sector encourages the concentration of economic power in a few hands. Concentration of economic power result in economic disparities, injustice, and exploitation. So, guys, as I have already told you that when there is only the private sector in a country, it is really possible to have the exploitation of the customer as well as the employees. So there must to have the private sector, or we can say if there there must to have the public sector, and we can say when there is a public sector in our country, the control of the economy will be in the hand of government. Now we will move further to the 7 point, that is public utility services. Public utility services like transportation, communication, health and medical facilities, electricity, roads. So guys, here you can see that there is no private company who provides such kind of services. So we can say there are very rare private sectors companies which provide such kind of services. So and such kind of services is provided by the government, or we can say the public enterprises only. So the transportation facilities, communication facility, health facility, medical facility, electricity, roads, so education facility. So public, when there is a high growth of public sector in our country, people of the country will get such kind of facility even a better way and with the better quality. Now the 8 point in the favor of public sector in our country, that is for rapid economic development. When there is a public sector, uh, our economy will get the boost in the development of the country. Let's see. Public sector is also essential to boost up the rate of economic growth. The object of economic planning and rapid economic development cannot be achieved by the private sector only. We cannot achieve the estimated growth by the private sector only. We need to have the public sector also, so that government can implement such kind of policy to run the public sector and can get estimated result in the future. The ninth point in the favor of public sector is essential for social welfare. More and more employment can be generated by the establishing public sector units. So guys, as I have told you that when there is more and more public sector in our country, public sector will provide also the employment services. So people will get the employment services, and they will be able to earn money from the public sector. And when the people of the country will be able to earn money from the public sector, they will get the welfare activities. They can be they can live their life very easily. And we can also say that they will be able to uplift their standard of living. Now we will see the 10th point on the screen, that is essential for the success of economic planning. Public enterprises can be successful without planning, but planning cannot be successful without the public enterprises. It shows the importance of public enterprises for the success of economic planning. India has chosen the path of planning for economic development. Therefore, public sector is essential for the success of planning. Public sector plays an important role in the achieving optimum utilization of human and natural resources so as to promote economic development. The resources are likely to be misallocated by the private enterprises. So guys, when there is no public sector in the country, private sector can utilize private sector might not utilize the resources optimally, or they might misallocate the resources of the production that are having in our country. So it is very necessary to have the public sector in our country to have a mutual development of the economy. Now, guys, we will see the 11th point on the screen, that is for successful implementation of policies. Government frames the economic policies for rapid economic development and to achieve social objectives. Private sector operates for individual profit. So, guys, when there is a public sector not only focuses on the profit but also focuses on the welfare of the citizen of the country. But when there is only the private sector only focuses on the maximization of the profit. So it is also necessary to have for successful implementation of the policy. Government also implements such kind of policies about, we can say, the social responsibility of any company. So whether it is a private company or the public company, they need to spend some money on the social responsibility. So these kind of policies can also be implemented by the government. Now guys, we will see the next point on the screen, that is effective control on economy. Public sector can move the economy in desired direction through the government policies. So guys, when there is a public sector, government will implement such kind of policies, and it can also be able to divert the economy according to the desired condition, or we can say the desired direction of the government. Then guys, we will see the 13 point of the, we can say, in the positive or in the favor of the public sector, that is to check the inefficiency of private sector. Government takes over such private sector units which are sick and not working properly since long time. Such units are technically and economically weak and burdened some on the economy. Such units are taken over and operated by the public sector to make them efficient and protect the interest of their employees. So guys, these kind of things be also possible, as you can take an example of Yes Bank and the SBI, as SBI has taken over the Yes Bank for their financial crisis. So this is what about when the private sector is not able to run their business, the public sector will take over that private sector and run the business very efficiently. Because the 14th point on the screen about the favor of the public sector, that is planned or we can say balanced industrial development. So here the word written balanced industrial development. In order to balance the industrial development, it is essential to set up the public sector enterprises. Private sector is interested in investing such industries and such regions where they can earn more profit in short run. This condition prevails in customer industries, and private sector is always keen to invest in such industries. The basic and produce industries with a huge investment and high gestation period is not the choice of private enterprises. So guys, here we can see that private enterprises only invest only invest for some kind of industries which give them the highest profit in the short time. So some kind of products or we can say some kind of goods and services will not be produced by the private sector, which is not much profitable but needed by the people. So government will also focuses on some kind of factors or some kind of sectors which is left by the private sector. Now, guys, as we can see, these industries such as cement industry, pharmaceutical industry, paper industry, transportation industry, such kind of industries does not give much profit to the private sector. So, private sector do not do the business of such kind of sectors. So, government will focus to start the pharmaceutical company, the paper producing company, transportation company, cement producing company. So, government will start such kind of industries and balance the industrial development of our country. Okay, 15 point on the screen, that is balanced regional development. The private sector will not prefer investing backward and comparatively underdeveloped region, but the develop of such regions as considered as socially desirable. So a government or government when government has a new project or government has a new project to start the enterprise, government will select, or we can say government will prefer the rural area or the area which is not quite developed. So by doing this, government will also do the balanced regional development in the country. So when there is a private sector only choose the urban area, so that private sector can get the infrastructure facility, water facility, electricity facility in the urban area. But when we talk about the public sector, when the public sector has a project to start a new enterprise or a new company, public sector will choose, or we can say government will choose the remote area of the country, or we can say the rural area of the country, so that when a company will be started in the rural area of the country, the people of that region will get the employment, and they will earn money from that company, and they can also improve their standard of living. So that particular region will also get the development in the country. By doing this, we can say that public sector will balance the regional development in the country. Now guys, we have completed the positive aspect of the public sector. We have seen some of the points which were in the favor of the public sector. So guys, the topic that we were discussing, which is significance of the public sector in India. So guys, we have discussed some of the points, as you can see on the screen, that are almost about 15 to 16 points. Now guys, we will see the next point that is on the screen, that is problems, demerits and criticism of public sector. Now guys, what are the negative aspect of the public sector? As we have seen the 15 points, which were the positive aspect of public sector, which conveys us the message that why do we need to have the public sector in our country. But here are some of the points which conveys us the meaning of the negative aspect of the public sector. We can say the problem of public sector, or we can also say the demerits of the public sector, or we can say the criticism of public sector. So let's see what is there. The first thing is inefficient management. So guys, we all know very well about the management, or we can say the execution of public sector, or we can say the government, how the government management works, how about the management of the government. So we also know that there is inefficient management in the public sector. It has been observed that public sector enterprises are managed by public servants, or we can say the government authorities. They are not professionally qualified or not expert in management or industrial enterprises. Public enterprises always suffer from delayed decision making. So, on the other hand, private enterprises are managed by the professional, which make them more punctual in working. Private enterprises are operated for the profit motive, resulting in optimum utilization of the available resources. Managerial diseconomics are there in the public enterprises because of the lack of the proper management cadre in the public sector. So guys, you know it very well that how government works. There is delaying in decision making. The people working in the public sector are not qualified enough, or we can say that there is no optimum utilization of the resources. So based on this, we can say in the public sector there is no efficient management. Now guys, we will see the second point, that is lack of efficiency. As I have told you just now, that in the public enterprises there is no much efficiency of the employees, or we can say of the all the resources that they are having. Let's see what has been written in this. Public enterprises are not run on the commercial principles. Their main motto is to social welfare, not to earn profit earning. If a public enterprise incurred losses due to inefficiency, it is overlooked. On the other hand, private enterprises are run for profit. Profitability is the main criterion of their efficiency. So guys, as you know it very well that public enterprises never shows the profit. Most of the public enterprises are running by suffering the loss. But it is not focused, or it is not concentrated by the government, because as the main objective of the public enterprises is not to earn profit, but to have the social welfare. Now guys, the third point is delayed decisions. In the public enterprises, the decision making is very slow, or we can say the authorities of the government do not take the decisions very quickly, or we can say on the time. So in the public enterprises, decision never takes on the time. Delayed in the decision making is one of the problem of public enterprises. uh, as we can see over here, lack of the personal interest, no one wanted to take responsibility of taking decisions. The loss of public enterprises is loss of public, it is not a personal loss. Therefore public enterprises have been underrating losses, and the amount of losses are mounting year after year. Now, guys, fourth point is lack of innovations. Innovations are essential for the economic development. Public enterprise lack is due to monopoly, or we can say the lack of competition. Private sector, private sector is always busy in innovating new techniques, new production methods, so that they can produce the goods at a very lower price and get higher profit in the market. But such kind of innovations is never been done in the public sector. Now, guys, we will see the fifth point on the screen, that is excessive government control. It has been found that the government is always interfering in the PT decisions of the public enterprises. Decision making takes a long time due to the complex procedure in the public enterprises. Autonomous corporation were set up to avoid excessive government control is public enterprises. So, guys, as we know that the public enterprises is run, owned, and managed by the state or the central government. Central government has excessive control on the public enterprises. So the decision get delayed, and such kind of the lengthy processes has to be faced by the public enterprises. So based on that, we can say it has a negative aspect of the public enterprises. Now the sixth point is mounting losses. A review of the working of PSU reveals that either their profits are deplorably low, or they are making losses. The losses are mounting year after year. Although some of the public enterprises are earning profit, but the amount is very thin in comparison to the capital employed and the expectations. So, guys, here we know that the most of the capital in our country has been invested in the public enterprises, but the public enterprises never shows the profit, they just faces the losses. And it is just happening due to the lack of the management skills and the decision making process. Such kind of things are not going proper in the public enterprises. So there is a mounting of losses in the public enterprises. So we can also consider this point as a negative aspect of the public enterprises. Now, guys, we will see the next point, that is political interference. uh, as you know it very well that every 5 years the government has changes, the political party changes. So we can see over here that political interference is a lot on the public enterprises. Each and every party of the power wants to run the business according to their mindset. So when the government changes, when the party of the power changes, there will be the new policies, and the new point of view of the work has been implemented in the public enterprises. So we can say there will be no proper executions of the policies which has been implemented by the party in the power. So this is also one of the negative aspect of the, or we can say the demerit of the public enterprises. Now the eighth point on the screen that we are having, that is underutilization of the capacity. Means and public sector, or we can say the public enterprises has a higher capacity to utilize the resources that they are having. They have manpower, they have capital, they have all the resources that need to have by the enterprises, but they just do not utilize the capacity that they are having. They just underutilize of the capacity. They never works on their 100%. So this is also the one of the negative aspect of the public enterprises. Now, guys, we will see the next point on the screen, that is the time and the cost overruns. Most of the public sector uh, projects take longer time to complete than was initially envisaged. So, guys, as the project has been planned to complete in a certain time, but when the project started, the time and cost overruns. Means whatever the planet has been done to finish the project in a certain period of time, but when the project started, it will not be done in a decided or premature or pre-decided time. So it will take long, and when the time goes beyond the limited area, or we can say the planned goal, it will also occur a higher cost in it. Now, guys, we will see the 10 point on the screen, that is problem on autonomy and control. Public funds are invested in the public enterprises, and the government is responsible for the optimum utilization of the public funds. At present, control is exercised by the finance minister and the minister in charge of the undertaking and the parliament to check misuse of public funds. Parliamentary control over the operation and capital development plans of the public enterprises tend to become quite rigid. There is need to provide greater functional autonomy to the management of the public enterprises. So guys, as we can see that how the government interferes, as we can see that how the government interferes and how the Ministry of Finance works for the control of the public sector. It is not quite flexible policies that has been implemented in the public sector to run the business well. Now guys, we will see how here we are the point given, that is we will see the 12th point, because the point given here, the sub point, that is problem of price policy. So there is highly reached, means the public enterprises do not change the price based on the market situations or according to the inflation rate is going on the country. So it will be very difficult for them to earn profit from the market. But we will see the next point, that is overstaffing. It has been noticed that in most public enterprises, manpower is in excess of actual requirement. Due to the poor manpower planning, public enterprises are facing the problem of overstaffing. There is a lack of proper education and training of the employees in public sector. Therefore, it is suggested to reduce the staff and top positions should be opened to its employees. Now guys, we will see the problem of overcapitalization. Public enterprises are facing the problem of overcapitalization. The input output ratio in many projects was unfavorable. Defective project planning, lack of cost consciousness, underutilization of capacity, etc., are the main causes of overcapitalization in the undertaking. A study team has mentioned that the causes of leading to the overcapitalization can be traced to inadequate planning, delays, and avoidable expenditure during construction, and surplus machine capacity tied aid, resulting in the compulsion to purchase the imported equipment on the non-competitive basis. Expensive turnkey contract, bad location of the project, and provisions of housing and other amenities on liberal scale. So guys, here you can see that how the public sector has overcapitalization. This is not about to increase the productivity, but it is all about the, we can say, it is the consequence of lack of the management skill, or the other factors, or we can say other reasons given here in this explanation that you can read over here. Now guys, we will see the 14th point, that is lack of motivation. There is no lack of motivation in the public enterprises. Employees get fixed salaries and other perks. There is no reward for good work and no punishment for bad. Thus the efficient and innovative employees are not motivated to do hard work. And guys, here the problem of manager structure. Public enterprises are governed by the board of directors. All important decisions are taken by the board. Therefore, the success of enterprise depends on the ability and efficiency of the members of the board. It is a difficult question as to who should be made a member of board of directors and what should be done. So guys, here the problem of manager structure, that who will manage the business, who will be the superior, who will be the manager, who will be the subordinates. So this kind of positions problem will also happen in the public sector. So here are the 15 point which conveys us the negative meaning, or we can say the negative aspect of the public sector. And we also have discussed the 15 points which conveys us the meaning of positive aspect of the public sector. So as we know that each coin has two sides, where one is the positive and the negative, as we can see. So guys, in this lecture today, we have discussed some of the points of your last chapter that you need to focus on. You need to study it well. You need to note down some of the important points, and you also need to keep learning these points so you can be prepared for your exam well. Now guys, that's it for today in this lecture. If you raise or with any questions or the queries, then you can contact me by any way you can. I will try my best to solve your problems or your queries, and to help you to prepare for your exam. Goodbye guys, good night.